Hi, Expressions family. It's always good to be here with you on this platform. I want to say welcome back if you've been here before. And if this is your first time, welcome. Welcome to this channel. This is a platform where we not only express, but we inspire and uplift. So, my goal today is to share something with you that will do such. And if I do this to at least one person, then my goal has been accomplished today. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about owning your story. And when I say this, I'm speaking to myself because I have owned my story. If you're not already aware, I became a recent author of my book, Late to the Game But Winning, and books are available on Amazon, Late to the Game But Winning. So in this book is where I tell my story. It's a memoir and it talks about five specific challenges that I had to overcome, five goals that I had, and it highlights my progress, the path, and everything that I did to achieve these goals. I did not give up. And so this is my story. And so I wanted to speak to somebody today who's ashamed of this story, who's embarrassed about this story, who's hiding this story. So and I thought about doing this video because I was a guest at a podcast recently and in talking about my book, and the host and he reiterated the same thing so many times. When we share our stories, or we don't share our stories because we hold on to it, whether it's because of culture, it's because of family, we keep it to ourselves. So they may have been past trauma, there may have been issues where the family has grown in such a way that if you're not a part of the family, you don't know what's going on. And so growing up, especially as children, we hold on to those things and they have such an impact on our lives. Because I know personally that I'd have done that. And the shame and the embarrassment, I held on to all of that, but it did me no good, really. I held on to it and it did me no good. And so when I wrote this book, and I touched on some of those things that I endured or that I went through because they're my story. I'm not trying to be, when I write my book, I wasn't trying to, I had no intention of making things sound good or, like fix it up in a way that readers would like it. No, it was my truth. It was my story. And so the podcast host also reminded us that when we don't feel like we're free to share our stories, that's one of the reasons why a lot of time people commit suicide or people go about and hurt themselves because they have no outlet or they don't feel free and comfortable. They can't get in a space where they're free to share their story so that they could get strength, get encouragement, or like find out other avenues for them to go so that they can get over the pain and the trauma that their story had. And so when I wrote my book, one of the feedback that I got too was someone mentioned that they loved the book, but the details, the wording was something like, "Oh, you didn't have to put all the details in," but it's my story, and so I always come back to that. It's my story. So what if we all went about the same thing? We all have stories, mind you. Your story, when God uses you and use your story, is because somebody out there is waiting for that story. Somebody is going to benefit from your story. Somebody's going to be uplifted, encouraged just by hearing your story because this story might be the same as yours. And so when you tell your story, you're giving them an opportunity to get over whatever the challenge is. You're letting them know that they don't have to stay there. Where I was, the things that I've been through, my trauma, I'm no longer there. I've crossed over. I went through the healing process. And so telling your story, don't ever let anyone make you feel like you cannot tell your story or that you should change it, fix it up, make it sound nicer, much more neater. Because if you did, then that's no longer your story. So we're here, we want to be, or we should be authentic. Now, if you're in a space that doesn't allow you to be yourself or doesn't allow you to share your true story, then that's not the space for you. So I wrote my book, and maybe sometimes that's what we all need to do. When you can't find a space for you to share your story, then create that space. I wanted to share my story. I went and wrote a book. I wrote a book. Okay, so my story could be shared because this book will go all over the world, places that I can't reach. Your story tells what you've been through and how you overcame. And the whole point of your story is not for you to forever be in pain or forever thinking about what you went through, because I did that. Well, it's for you to get over. And now I can smile. I can talk about my trauma and the pain that I endured. It does not have any control over me. The situations, the challenges that I had, the goals that I wanted to achieve, even though there were times when it felt like it wasn't going to happen, and I felt like I probably don't deserve it, I felt like it's too late. All of that I outlined in my book, but I had to tell my story. And so I'm going to do a quick reading for us just to remind us about the importance of us telling our story. Own your story. It's the key to your power. Your story didn't break you. Instead, it built you. Let me say that again. Your story, because we all have that, it didn't break you. Instead, it built you. For years, many of us hide our stories. We ashamed of what we go through, afraid of what people would think. But from the moment we start owning it, it's the moment that we find freedom. The truth is, your story carries weight, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. There's healing in your honesty. There's purpose in your pain. Purpose in your pain. And there's power in you telling it on your terms, telling it the way that you know how. Because only you know. You lived it. That's the thing. Your story is because you lived it. Is nobody can tell it like you. And don't try to change your story to fit in somebody else's mold or what they think it should be or what they think it should sound like. No, your story is your story. Stop editing your life to make others comfortable. I'm going to read that again. Stop editing your life and your story to make others comfortable. Stop playing small to avoid judgment. Own every chapter of your story because God is using all of it. All of it. He came to change your entire being. He came to provide hope and to give you a bright future, not just a part of your life, the whole thing. If God takes you just the way you are, why can't people accept us for who we are? Let us recognize that we should be our true self. Don't allow what others think to make you change who you are or to edit your life and your life story just to make them comfortable. Your survival, your growth, and your journey, it's all yours. It's proof that even when life tried to break you, you chose to rise. When life tries to break us, let us continue to choose to rise. Your story isn't over, and it's already changing lives. If you could look in the mirror and say that, because you know your story is not over. And once you open your mouth, or once you get the word out, once you tell your story, for me, it was writing a book. For you, it could be a different means. Might be getting up on stage, making presentation, whatever it is in a group setting, share your story because somebody's waiting to hear it. Speak your truth, sis. Sis, speak your truth. Stand in it because your voice matters. And someone, like I said, someone is waiting to hear how you made it through. Because when you give your testimony, that's your testimony of how you made it through. They'll know that they can make it through too. Own your story. It's your legacy in the making. And if this has blessed you, if this has blessed you today, I want you to drop me a comment. Drop me some sort of emoji, something to let me know that you will no longer allow others to make you diminish yourself or hide your story. Tell your story the way you lived it, the way how you want to, not to make somebody else feel comfortable or fit into what they want. No, your story, your life, your purpose, your change. I pray that this video has been a blessing, has been an encouragement to you. And I'm going to leave the title with you before I close. Own your story. It's the key to your power. All right, Expressions fam, be blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Own your story. Own that power. Bye-bye.